This week, we're looking at a team of Decepticons who bring doom and destruction wherever they go. These are the basics on the worst of the worst. The bots called on only for the dirtiest, most violent jobs. The Mayhem Attack Squad. The Mayhem Attack Squad were a Decepticon Special Operations Unit, created by writer Simon Furman in 1989 for the Marvel Transformers comic book. The team first appeared in stories exclusive to the British version of the comic, which presented them as essentially the Decepticon counterpart to the Autobot commando unit, the Wreckers. In their debut storyline, the squad was instructed by Decepticon High Command on Cybertron to join forces with the Wreckers for a mission to Earth to combat the rogue Decepticon leader Megatron and his time-traveling future self, Galvatron, whose united threat posed a danger to both factions alike. Like the Wreckers, the Mayhem's ranks consisted mostly of expendable characters who hadn't appeared in the American comic book. The Deluxe Insecticons, Venom and Chop Shop, the Duocons, Battletrap and Flywheels, and the Pretender Beasts, Catilla and team leader Carnivac. Carnivac had been given orders to kill any Autobots that survived the battle, but when Wrecker leader Springer saved his life during the fight, Carnivac's sense of warrior's honor led him to disobey this command and aid Springer in return. The battle was a slaughter. Of the Mayhems, only Carnivac and Catilla survived. Stranded on Earth and left feeling that they had been used and abandoned by High Command, they decided to ally with the remaining Wreckers to form a new team called the Survivors. For this, they were branded traitors, and a new Mayhem Attack Squad was formed to hunt down and execute them, consisting of Target Masters Spinister and Needlenose, Pretenders Octopunch, Stranglehold, and Bludgeon, and led by Carnivac's former ally, Snarler. The squad succeeded in killing Catilla, which led to Carnivac swearing vengeance on them, tracking them to their island headquarters, and taking them down one by one. A few months after introducing the Mayhems in the British comic, Simon Furman also took over writing the American comic, and quickly brought the team into that series as well, in a storyline that saw new Decepticon leader Thunderwing dispatch the squad, consisting of just Bludgeon, Octopunch and Stranglehold, on a mission to terminate the Autobots Grimlock, Bumblebee and Jazz, only for the heroes to defeat them in battle. After these stories, it would be nearly 2 decades before the Mayhem Attack Squad was seen again. But the team eventually resurfaced in 2008 in the one-shot comic Cheap Shots, published by the Transformers Collectors Club and set in the world of the Marvel series. It saw Decepticon hooligan Ruckus try to assemble a new version of the team by partnering with Needlenose and hiring Octopunch and Stranglehold to help him get revenge on the Autobot Nightbeat for a past defeat. But Ruckus wasn't exactly a skilled leader, and the plan ended in failure and embarrassment. Since this reappearance, the squad have gone on to feature in several other series, including some that take place in the Marvel Universe, and others set in different continuities. The group's roster changes from story to story, with every new adventure adding new members to its ranks, drawn from all over Transformers history. But one thing's pretty consistent. Wherever they appear, the Mayhems are almost always depicted as the enemy of the Wreckers. One of the more unusual takes on the group was offered by IDW Publishing, who introduced the Mayhems into their comic book universe in the 2015 miniseries Sins of the Wreckers. You see, by this point in their run, IDW had already explored the idea of a direct Decepticon counterpart to the Wreckers, having featured an original team named Squadron X in earlier stories. So the Mayhems were given a new role. Taking inspiration from the Marvel story of Carnivac's dissatisfaction with his leaders, instead of a Decepticon unit, IDW's Mayhems were an anarchist terrorist cell, out to redress the balance of power on Cybertron by taking down the ruling classes of both the Autobots and Decepticons and returning power to the people. As such, IDW's version of the group was named just Mayhem, no Attack Squad. A notably larger organisation than the small team seen in past stories, it was led by Carnivac, with key members including the Seacon, Overbite, Beast Wars characters Polar Claw, Clawjaw and Stampy, and Tidal Wave from Transformers Armada. Sins detailed how Mayhem allied with the mad scientist Tarantulas, serving as his enforcers in return for Tarantulas upgrading them with experimental organic beast modes that hid them from Cybertronian sensors. This alliance brought Mayhem into conflict with the Wreckers, until Wrecker leader Impactor, tired of being used as a pawn by those in power, decided that he agreed with Mayhem's goals and joined them in their crusade. Though the 2018 sequel, Requiem of the Wreckers, would show how this quickly led to a power struggle between him and Carnivac for command of the organisation. In 2016, a dedicated set of Mayhem Attack Squad toys was released exclusively through the Collectors Club, consisting of Bludgeon, Spinister, Needlenose, Ruckus, and new member, Windsweeper. The figures could combine to form the giant robot Thunder Mayhem, based on Thunderwing. Bludgeon became the torso, while the others became the limbs, each one able to transform into either an arm or a leg, all totally interchangeable. Tie-in stories explain that this version of the team came from a universe in which they were chosen by Decepticon scientist Shockwave to be engineered into the ultimate combiner, powered by the Matrix of Malice, a talisman containing the disembodied super-powerful life force of Thunderwing. But Thunder Mayhem couldn't be controlled. He razed Cybertron, wiping out almost the entire Transformer race, before setting out to do the same to other planets. A small group of survivors were gathered by Impactor to form a new Wreckers unit, who forged themselves into a combiner as well, so they could hunt the Mayhems to Earth and finally put a stop to their threat. In 2019, IDW rebooted their comics, introducing a new universe with its own version of Mayhem. Led by Octopunch and his subordinates Skullgrin and Submarauder, this incarnation of the group was featured in the 2021 miniseries Tread and Circuits. Initially, it seemed that Mayhem was again being depicted as an anarchist group who came up against the Wreckers when they launched an attack on the Cybertronian colony world Velocitron and disrupted the racing tournament that the speed-obsessed planet used to elect its rulers. However, it turned out Mayhem were secretly Decepticons, and the attack was a ruse, designed to ensure that their Velocitronian agent, Knockout, could win the race and take over as the planet's leader. This version of Mayhem had its own unique insignia, which combined the features of Octopunch, Skullgrin and Submarauder. And this symbol would be seen again just a few years later in 2024, when the Mayhem Attack Squad returned to the spotlight in the Doom and Destruction Collection, a special Mayhem-themed subline of the Transformers Legacy toy line. The collection included characters from throughout the team's history, classic Marvel members Bludgeon and Chop Shop, Collectors Club editions Ruckus and Windsweeper, Breakdown from IDW's Tread and Circuits, and a new member, Chop Shop's fellow deluxe Insecticon, Barrage, all sporting the Tread and Circuits insignia. And the word is there'll be even more Mayhems on the way in 2025, so the Wreckers had better be on their guard. And those are the basics on Mayhem. Which incarnation is your favourite? And what Transformers from any series do you think would be a good fit for the squad? Name them in the comments, and while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe for more Transformers history and lore.